Joe Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today, I am really going to have to put aside my preferences and judge a figure purely on the merits of what it offers, because I will tell you before we even get into this box, I got a lot of... This is not the Raptor I would have preferred. And I've got some issues right off the bat with some of the choices that they've made. But at the end of the day, I still expect to like this figure as a figure. We'll get to it. So this is Chip, Raptor, Talon, and General Ledger. Wow, a lot went into that. Box is great. We've talked about the boxes plenty here on the Needless Things YouTube channel and on Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, available on alternating Mondays here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, and every single Friday wherever you get your podcasts, as well as often on Wednesdays we are reviewing all of the Energon Universe comic books from Skybound and Image, so check that out as well wherever you get your podcasts. And we talked about this on Audible Interlude. I even, at one point, years ago, and I can say years ago because we've been doing the show for 4 years now, years ago I suggested, hey, if we get an updated Raptor, he could have a rig similar to Vulture in the MCU, which seemed like a pretty reasonable, good idea to me at the time. And I still am not opposed to it, but my original suggestion had been he can come with that and a soft goods feather cape. But what we got is just the Vulture rig, which, don't get me wrong, looks awesome. And I gotta say, I'm pretty excited about this. This is cool. This is cool. But I need that soft goods cape as an option, which is where the possibility, this is now the mantra of the old man G.I. Joe collector. Well, maybe they'll do a retro card back version. I mean, it's just what we say to so many of these now. And then we get the retro card back version and we're like, well, maybe they'll do another retro card back version, like with the Cobra Trooper. Which to me was a very, very disappointing figure. But we must remember, retro card back is exactly that. They are not retro figures unless they happen to be. They are sold as retro card back figures to evoke the packaging nostalgia of the Joes we collected when we were children. And in many ways, we still very much are children. Okay, so yes, this is a great figure. It's a great design. Complaining about what they've done with this is a bit silly. I don't know how I feel about his tattoos. This is the first time I'm going to say, because I have been, in general, a proponent of the addition of the tattoos on the Classified Series figures, because it makes sense to me, because it's mostly been Dreadnoks. Rock and Roll makes sense, but here on Raptor, well, but you know what? Having said that, your headcanon for, I like some of his bits and pieces here that are new. Everybody's headcanon is going to be a little different. So maybe Raptor has kind of a weird, like he's a normal businessman, but then you find out he's got all these weird bird-themed tattoos under his suit. Like an American Psycho or, I'm trying to think of something else where somebody's revealed like, oh my gosh, they've got a full body of tattoos. That's extremely strange. I know that's been a sort of a trope in things. Or like Manhunter. Or Red Dragon or whatever, when you find out the tattoos are there. Like, it's weird. This could be kind of a similar kind of thing. Okay, so anyway. Gosh, they really did go all out on this. I can't be mad about this figure at all. The original Raptor, I always liked. I'm going to be very careful with with General Ledger here, the original General Ledger, because those claws do have a tendency to just snap. I loved this figure when I was a kid. I realized the intent was not that he actually flew, but mine better believe it actually flew. I always just loved the fabric of his cape. And this to me, like this little weird pulley system here was well, he didn't fly, he could glide. So this potentially would hook up underneath a fang and they'd pick him up, carry him into battle, and he'd glide down. Now, I don't know what he did because this guy really doesn't have any offensive capabilities. But I don't know, I love this figure. I really did love this figure when I was a kid. There's just something about it. The soft goods wings really were cool to me. Because I was not the hardcore, G.I. Joe needs to be military and real. I was never, ever that at all. I liked G.I. Joe best when it got pretty fantastical. So there's our original Raptor. You can see he's got the holster, although it almost doesn't even look like a holster. It looks like it's just some kind of blaster strung up there. But there you go. I think that's as much of a look at him as we need right now, because this figure, only slightly, well, it gets the tones of that figure. He's got the bird foot styling going on there. I do like that they added this gray, because the all brown would have been a little weird. Oh, and he's got that amulet is still there, that red amulet. It's not a bird skull anymore, which is what I always thought that one was. Is that what that is? I don't know that it is. What is that? Oh, it's a cobra emblem. I have never, believe it or not, I've never zoomed in on this thing before, but look, it's a cobra necklace, right? Unless I'm crazy. So that is actually a change, because this is just a red. What? How do they get more detail on that old 80s figure than they did on this new classified figure? I would have loved for this to be a little Cobra emblem. Although, again, maybe the retro card back will get that. I do like the removable cowl and his extremely off-putting haircut. Although that does kind of take away from the business executive idea that I had. His little domino mask with the textured detailing on it is a nice touch. Face looks great. Face looks really, really good. And then his feather vest with all those different colors in it. I love that. The bird belt buckle, which comes from the original figure, he does have the holster over here. Although the problem I'm seeing is that the holster runs into the doodad on his thigh over here. Get the feathers on the boots kind of just sort of sticking out of the sides there. And we've taken that red diamond, or red triangle, whatever it is, and extended it over here. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to turn these around, maybe? I feel like that is more what that should look like. Probably. There we go. Make those feathers more visible. Yeah, I gotta say it. This is not exactly what I would have wanted, but it is a very well done. Aside from this holster being a problem, I gotta figure this situation out. I might just pull this little pouch off entirely and just leave, because this one has the sheath for his knife. But this might just have to come off. Ooh, it's gonna be tough to get over that boot though. I don't know if that's going to happen. Now I've got, sometimes I'll say something during a review and I just have to find out right here. I mean, I know I can heat things up, but I'd rather not. And yeah, I'm sure I could sort of move this around and make that holster situation work. But whatever. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. That one little tab on the inside of the boot catches everything. Okay, here we go. We're there. We got it. So that doodad comes off. So his holster can hang where I feel like his holster should hang. We're going to make that, well, maybe not that low. But, yeah, I think that's fine. I don't need that other doodad. So there have been a number of classified figures where they do two thigh things, where I don't think two thigh things are really necessary. And this was one of those instances. Okay, so there is the figure. Oh, and I didn't mention the plastic feels really good. We don't have anything that's too rubbery or too pliable here. It all moves nicely. So that's good. Okay, cool. So there he is. Chip Raptor Talon. Looks great. Great looking figure. I cannot dispute that at all. Let's take a look at his headdress here. Boy, those eyes. He's got some real googly eyes going on there. Our pal Rex Ship sent me an image of his Raptor that I think is about the same on the googly eye scale. And those pupils, like literally this one is looking down and this one is looking up. I don't do any painting of my figures really, but I might just paint gold over those and just leave it with the gold eyes. Or with black. The original figure... Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Look at that detail. The original figure had red and black in those eyes. Wow. But yeah, I might just put a dab of gold and cover those pupils up because that is silly. Like, too silly for a man dressed as a bird. Yes, I understand. Otherwise, the detailing on this looks great. And as I pointed out to Rex Ship, the person being paid a nickel a day to paint those pupils, no, of course they probably didn't care all that much. Because this stuff, I don't believe, is the inkjet printing like the face is. This is a little loose. I'll put a little blue tack in there to keep it in place. But I'm not super happy with the fact that that's just sits there. There's no snugness whatsoever. It was not designed to clasp to the head in the way other classified headgear has been. So that's a disappointment. But like I said, I'll throw a little blue tack in there. It'll be fine. He has got these offensive claws, which I love. I think that's a nice little touch because this answers the question of, okay, if he glides into battle, well, what the heck does he do? He uses these talons, that don't really fit on his hands super well. Oh, man. Things are falling apart, people. We're getting deeper into the review, and we're starting to come across the issues. Now, these came with... who did these claws originally come with? Was it Kamakura or Nunchuck? Oh, that stinks. They don't fit on his hands really well. And this is another issue like with Road Pig's shield where they just threw some accessories in there and clearly didn't verify, like, oh, wait, do these actually work with this figure? Because, look, they just kind of hang on his fingers. They don't go all the way up the hand. They sort of go on in a way, but you know that's not what they're supposed to look like. Well, that's disappointing. And just put those to the side. I did like those, but they don't work with the figure very well. What else we got? We've got a nice little, I like this sort of blunt, short, not blunt, but this short little dagger. Very simple, very nice, and fits right there. Now, you know, normally I don't like an exposed blade, but in this instance, the chances of him like accidentally brushing up against that or anything in any way, very, very slim. So I don't mind that the little tiny exposed blade. That's okay. And then we've got a blaster. Does have a port for blast effects and has a little bit of paint on it. Nice touch. Good looking little piece. And that's going to go in that holster that got so much attention not so long ago. Why didn't they fit this better? Who else is this going to ever need to fit on? And then, oh no, wait, not finally. All right, so we've got his wings here. And my gosh, they better stay plugged in really well. I can already tell they're not contoured to his back, which is becoming more of a problem as this line goes on. Although, they sit snugly enough. Okay, that's okay. I would like them to be more contoured, but they're in there nice and snug, and they don't jut out too ridiculously far, so that's all right. I'm good with that. And you've got, of course, the thing that everybody loves so much, the like defensive shielding type thing, which somebody had like an anime name for that I don't remember what it was. But you've got pivoting right here, you've got a hinge here, and then another pivot up here. So what I'm curious about with all the articulation in these, and by the way, I absolutely love the this detail here. This is sculpted and painted. It looks fantastic. Rip Wing CM2. I don't know if this is some kind of oh, look at, you've even got a little discharge blast carbon scoring whatever over here. That's a nice touch. So the wings, while they are not exactly what I wanted out of Raptor, are very well done and can fold up enough so that he looks like you could stand him on the shelf like this. They stick out about that far, which is not horrible. So it's got just enough fold up to where I'm good with, like, yeah, it would be great if they could fold up completely flat on his back, but also, come on. Now what you could do if you really wanted to is maybe pop that off. I mean, look, I know that's ridiculous. But, you know, depending on what you need your headcanon to be, like, they could all collapse down into that if you really wanted that to happen. I wonder if, no, because that bar is, well, no, that bar is too long. It's a shame if they made the bars the same size. You could have done something with that. That might have been kind of cool. Well, anyway, now you've seen that those do sort of snap off. So yeah, the wings are great. The wings have a really cool design. They match his colors. And as I said, early on in the show, in Audible Interlude, I did say we could get a Raptor that is, you know, has vulture wings, essentially. I'm trying to think of the different ways this could be folded up to be more stand around normal looking. That, not one of those ways. Maybe it is for you. I don't know. Okay, now we get to the end finally. I'm just going to lay him down. I'm not going to try and stand him up. General Ledger, which is just massively disappointing, a huge letdown. When we were talking about getting a Raptor figure, my idea of this Falcon fighting freedom seemed so exciting, and instead we've just got this slug that does nothing. This is a letdown. There's no way around it. Like, look, for what it is, beautiful sculpt, beautiful paint. I like the idea of the hood on it. That's neat. But this is just a letdown. Like, this isn't even as good as the original one. Because, look, at least the wings were out on this one. Yes, it does not make much sense for it to be perched on his hand that way. But better that than, you know, that's now this pegs into either forearm here. Although, man, you've really got to do some gymnastics with this thing to get him to sit right. Like, I feel like those shouldn't be just sitting on top like that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So Raptor's here on the battlefield. He sees a Joe with unprotected eyes, and he says, "Go, General Ledger, attack that Joe." And General Ledger goes, and that's it. That's all the action you get out of that bird. Yeah, very, very disappointing. If you wanted to, you could probably use the other eagle that came with Freedom with Raptor. But yeah, this is whack. I don't often say that. And if you are a regular viewer, you can probably count on one hand the times I have. But this is whack. This figure, on the other hand, is pretty darn cool. There are a couple little things I need to make adjustments on. But overall, I'm happy with this figure. I'll hang it from the ceiling in flight mode. It'll look really cool. And then if they do the retro card back Raptor, like I hope they do, that one will stand on the shelf with his soft goods cape, looking like a Goonie Birdman. So there you go. There is Chip, Raptor, Talon, and his whack little slug. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And until next time, buy what you like. Buy birds and stocks. Make wise investments. I can help. Call Chip, Raptor, Talon at 1-888-555-4327.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.